Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. Do you all remembered when I told you recently that I made some arrangements on my deck for a future project? Well, today is that day that I am going to be working on that project with you. But first I must show you what I did on the deck, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I will be doing, what we will be doing today. So, can anyone remember what I had right here? Well, you're probably going back to a few videos to look and check what I had back there. But this is the table I had back there. So it is now in this area. And today what I am going to do for you is we are going to be using a pallet along with some other items like a few pieces of these and some bottles to create a living garden in an extremely small space. So let's get this pallet up to where we are going to be working. Yes. So now that the pallet is here, I know that it's not going to be able to stand by itself. So I am going to be using my two 5-gallon buckets with water to brace the pallet against the wall until I am done with the entire project. So I really do like the look of these two buckets right here. It's a pity I'm gonna have to move them. What do you guys think about this? Should I move them or should I leave them right here? The next thing that I will be doing is to put the bottoms of the bottles that I cut in the top of the pallet because there's an open space right up there. And my reason for doing this is because I'm going to be measuring the width on the pallet to put my nails. So basically, in front of one of the bottles, I am going to be putting 2 marks because I'm going to be using 2 nails or 2 screws to hold up each one of these containers. And when I am done, I am also going to be putting the bottles inside of the top of the pallet. As soon as I am done doing this, guys, I'm going to show you exactly what I am talking about. But let me first place all the bottles in. Then I'm going to be measuring them with my tape. I'm going to be using my marker to put the dots on. And then I am going to take those same bottles out, put over the marks that I made to make other marks on the bottle. So basically these bottles are going to be used as a template to mark the other parts on the pallet where I want to hang my other containers. So here I am putting in this bottle in the top of the pallet as I was explaining to you. And I'm putting in this one as well. So as I stated earlier, I am now measuring the spot on the pallet where I'm going to be putting the And here I am now putting the bottles over the marked areas, and I'm using the marker to put marks on the bottles. And the marks that is on the bottles, that is exactly where I'm going to be using my soldering machine to put holes in those bottles. So guys, I know all the measurements, they are not going to be the same, so I went ahead and I marked each one of the bottles to ensure that I know which bottle I have to use on which side to get the correct measurement, so I can mark the pallet and put in my nail. It is now time to use the soldering gun to put 2 holes in each one of these bottles. And remember, the holes are going in the top section of the bottle. That is the part that is going to be hanging on the pallet. So these are now going to be used as templates to put the marks on the pallet so I can put my nails or my screws in. And right now, guys, as you just saw, I removed the flower pot and I am using the 5-gallon bucket with the water as a seat on my deck. So you can do this in your garden. You can use your 5-gallon bucket to sit on, but guys, ensure that you have something inside of the 5-gallon bucket, because trust me, I'm telling you, my weight, if there was nothing in it, I know something would have happened. So please put some water, some sand, some rocks, some tools in your 5-gallon buckets before you sit in, well, not in, before you sit on them, okay? So guys, because my husband works in construction, we always have a lot of extra materials around the yard. Right here, I am getting some nails. I am not sure how many I am going to be needing. I didn't count it. I know that I have like 6 bottles on each row, and 6 bottles have 2 holes in them, so that is like 12 holes, and I'm going to be using about 4 holes. 4 times 12, 48. So I think I'm going to be needing about 48 of these nails, although I am not sure if I'm going to be using all of these, because after looking at them, I noticed that they were a little bit long, so I might probably try and get some shorter ones to use on the bottom section of the pallet. But right now, I am going to be using these long ones at the top, because after the nails is placed on the top, I am also going to be adding the bottles inside of the top of the pallet, and these long nails will be able to hold the bottles in place for me. When you're doing a job like this, guys, you want to protect your kneecaps. So I am now kneeling on one of those dollar store kneeling pads. So you can go and get yourself one. Very, very inexpensive. And I mean, this channel is all about saving money, but this knee pad for $1.25, it's worth purchasing. So you can go ahead and get yourself one at the dollar store. Or if you don't want to buy one, you can kneel on the grass, or you can get a towel from inside or some old clothes, put it down on the grass, and you can kneel on it, and you save yourself $1.25. So guys, because these nails were being used in a nail gun, they're all attached to each other, so I'm just using this cutter to separate them. But after analyzing the whole situation, I don't think I'm going to be using these because they are too long, as I have mentioned. So guys, these are the nails that I was actually planning on using in the palette, but I won't be using these. Let me go ahead and show you the ones that I found. I found some 1-inch nails, and these are the ones that I am going to be using going forward. And this is what I did with the 2-inch nails so far. I think they're actually better for this part of the job because I wanted the longer nails to hold the containers inside of this section of the pallet. And then I am going to be hanging some more containers on these parts right here. Going forward, the shorter ones, they're going to be used on this part of the pallet. So this is going to be the conclusion, or the part 1 of this project, guys. Because of the weather conditions, I am unable to proceed, so I will see you in part 2. Thanks for watching, and I hope you may come back to see the final result of our project and how it is going to be looking on this side of our patio or deck.